Welcome to Riviera Maya Homes' third podcast. I'm Stefan Schmidt, and with me, like always, is the beautiful
Reina Lopez y Cooper.
and
Cuperto.
Cuperto. Today in our podcast, we're going to talk about the fear buying property in Mexico, which probably everybody has on the top of the top. The fear in Mexico is created over the history from before. But like everything in evolution changes. That means Mexico is growing, the economy is growing, the country is getting a different track, especially politically. But all this shows us that right now, if I'm being straightforward with somebody coming from another country, it's not dangerous. I mean, do you, as a Mexican woman, do you feel it's dangerous here?
No, I don't feel like that. And there is a lot of girls that are coming from other countries solo, by themselves, and they are very good and safe.
Exactly. I had a friend coming recently and he said the same thing. He's like, oh, I'm worried. Should I go out? I'm like, listen, have a walk outside. Everything is fine. So security is like always. Of course, you have, like if you go into the United States, if you go into Germany, if you go into Italy, I mean, Napoli is also famous for people pickpocketing, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to go there. So the tourism shows us people are still coming here and moving around, and all the stories about cartels and everything. I mean, it's part of Mexico, but hey, I'm living here as a foreigner now over 17 years, and nothing happened, thanks God, and let's keep going like that. But when it comes to investment, there's another fear which gets into it. It's not just the fear about walking down the streets, because there is involved a lot of money, property, there comes legal issues, there comes a bunch of important things in mind. And sometimes people hear, it's so great to invest here in Mexico, and people are doing it like crazy. But there's some people, they're sitting at home and say, I really want to, but hey, I'm just not feeling safe. And that's why we do this podcast, and that's why we are having a few key points. They're very important, and we're starting with one, which is basically the legal one. That's the major one. And the legal one is very important, but it's also one of the best covered, because legally it's just like in the United States, like in Germany, like in China, it's like everywhere else. We have lawyers here, and the law is the law. And the law is always being written down. And that protects you, and also international law is existing. That means since America, like United States, Canada is working a lot together, the law is not only Mexican, it expands to the international part. And that's where Reina comes in with your experience as a Mexican, right?
Yeah. Well, my job is something that I love to do, because I know it's very important for my clients to buy a condo, right? And it's their money, they work for that. So for me, it's very important to bring to my clients the safest project. So what I do is investigate the developer and the builder. Sometimes they are one, like the developer builds,
okay.
And sometimes it's one, the developer, and then he hired the builder. So I investigate both, and I see everything from the titles, the land, everything, before to present the project to my clients. So before I do something with my clients, I investigate everything to make sure that it's a solid and it's a good developer and a good builder.
And what do you do like law-wise? Okay, let's say you have investigated and now you have the contract. What do you do when you get a contract?
Well, I ask for the contract. When my client is interested in the project, I ask for the contract. I read the contract. I'm not a lawyer, but I know about the laws in real estate in Mexico. So I read the contract and I talk with my clients about the contract. And sometimes the developers, they have some clause that is a little bit
uncomfortable, like it
yes,
doesn't fit.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So I talk with them, with the lawyer, and I can say like, we feel better if you move this, so we can, it's always we can change a little bit in the contract.
So that's very important. That means if I'm, let's say, coming from the United States, I come down here, I know about the law, I know how it is in the United States. Of course, Mexico is a little bit different. You present me the contract and you explain me what's in the contract, and I say, hey, this clause, I'm not comfortable, I'm not feeling it, and then we can adjust it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I go and talk with the developer, and we can adjust if, of course, if the developers wants.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's important.
Yeah, that is important. And also, always the clients can hire a lawyer and they can do the due diligence. So that is more like deep.
That's a point what is interesting that you said. So let's say like this, if there is a lawyer in the United States who is authorized to have international law experience and he knows about the law, he can take a look of the contract and can basically do adjustment?
Well, if the client has like a personal lawyer or something like that, yeah, of course, we can send the contract, he can read the contract, and they can adjust. Or here in Mexico, there's a lot of lawyers of agencies, and they can hire a lawyer here and do it.
So like you just heard, is a lot law going on and lawyers included, Mexican lawyers, you can use lawyers from your country. That is the part where legal-wise, it's basically, it's a safe place because the law you can't change. I mean, that's something what is fixed. And once you have it on paper, that gives you the security. Another thing what is important, what we were talking, or we're gonna talk also more in another podcast, is the bank trust, which is also a legal support in your contract. That is very important. Once you have the property, as the bank trust comes in, and it's an authority which is from the government authorized to be backing you up, so you have a double security. And the banks, we all know that the banks are making sure that the law is not something what can bite them back later on. So that's the law-wise, we're basically pretty covered.
And the other thing is that now a lot of developers, they are doing a contract with the Profeco to have the certificate of the Profeco.
Okay.
So that is an institution in Mexico that they care and they protect the customer.
Oh yeah.
So yes, so sometimes some of the developers, they have this contract, and this contract has a folio certification of the Profeco, which means the Profeco who protect the customers read the contract and everything is good with that contract.
So we see it's very important to do a lot of investigation, which you are doing, and that gives you a little bit more the laid back and the peace. The next thing what we're going to talk is
the other thing is the language barrier.
The language barrier, okay? The language barrier is the main part because you come and you don't speak the language and I don't know what they're talking about. Very simple. We have Reina here who has the experience because she speaks Spanish. Okay, she knows everything. Also, she is doing a great job in speaking English, so which helps me double because I speak perfectly Spanish, but there's some words I don't know. And in this part, she really helps me out on that one. So language, there comes in, you have to have somebody when it comes to language who helps you out with the language. That's why you have to have a real estate agency who speaks English, who speaks your language. If it's from Germany, I speak the German, French, and I can help make it more simple, understandable. The next one of fear.
The fear is the distance and management.
Distance and management. That's a very important point because what happened is now you bought a property here down in Mexico and you're living in Canada. And it's not just something you can, if there's something happen, jump in the car and drive down and check. And in this part, there's very important that somebody manages your property. We have a big repertoire of companies where we also do the same thing with the investigation. Do they have the right amount they charge you? Is the percentage okay? Do they have contracts? What in case happened to your property? Let's say you have something broken down from somebody who did a vacation rental. Are they going to repair it? That's the main part because you want to make sure that, of course, the company is basically giving you the condo back as you gave it to them. There is something you told me with an app, right?
Yeah, there is some companies that now everything is digital, right? So even if you are in the United States or in Canada or in China, wherever you are, there are some companies here in Riviera Maya that they are doing with an app. So you download the app and you can see, you can see because they don't have cameras. So you can just monitorize or you can have a notification when the door is open, the lights or the air condition, so you can turn off everything in your app. And even if they book your apartment, you can see when it's booked.
Okay, so you have a control about what's going on in your place. That's very good, technical, right? Then we have also the main part, investment risks. Investment risks, actually, you have them in anything. If you buy Bitcoin, if you're gonna go to the stock market, you always have. The secret for investment risk, to get that fear controlled, is investigation. So it brings us all back down on investigation. Research the market, give you a little bit comfortable. For example, when you analyze the market here in Mexico, basically it goes with the tourism. Tourism is always going high, so that gives you a stable, comfortable reason to invest here, because it's just going up. We had that in our podcast before. So the risk, we can actually say it's a little bit minimized because the tourism is so strong and so strong. Even in COVID, like we said, we had a 67% occupation, and that helps us a lot out. So in these 4 points what we just mentioned, which are most likely the main fears, you already noticed it comes down to a lot of investigation, which shouldn't be the part of you guys, because that's where we come in, or that where your real estate agent comes in, or your broker. So he should do the good, really strong investigation to make sure that everything is safe and secured. And just to give you a few key points, research is the key, that's what we said. Talk to experts, that's what we are for, or even we talk to experts. That's like Reina said, she talks to the developers, we talk to other brokers, we talk to agencies, we talk to the ones who know. Lawyers, you talk a lot with lawyers. So we go into the experts to get the right information. That's very important. And another one to help you also is to start small with an investment. And that's a great opportunity over here, because we're not talking about $1 million investments or $3 million mansions. We're talking about 150,000, 200,000, up to 300,000. That's something to start small. People start with a 1-bedroom apartment to get a feeling how it is. Yeah. You had a client, right? Yeah. What happened? He bought?
I have a couple of clients that they bought the first condo, and then when I delivered and everything was fine, and he said, okay, I'm gonna get another one, and he get another one. He bought 3 condos here in Tulum. And yeah, I mean, that is easy. It's a risk carefully.
Okay. Yeah, start small. That's what we also recommend. It's not going about big. It's very just start small, get comfortable, get a feeling, and then you get more relaxed and see what's going on. Just get a feeling for it. So for security, to just resume it and come to the end, you need somebody who does the research for you. You need somebody who gives you the comfortable that you're sitting in your home and saying, you know what, I'm gonna, my $200,000 that are saved up so hard and worked hard are a very good investment. And that's where a really good broker comes in. We offer that. We try to give you this a little bit an explanation so you have an idea. When you have questions about security, just give us a like, write us a comment underneath, and just let us know so we can pick up this. We're gonna retake that talking about security all over our podcast. This was number 3 today, okay? And basically from my side, I'm gonna say thank you for watching, for spending your time.
And for me, it's like, we got your back, so don't worry. If you want to invest, we got your back.
And Cuperto got the back. He's sleeping already. It's late for him. All right. Thank you very much. This was Riviera Maya Homes, our 3rd podcast. And always remember, Riviera Maya Homes, we get you here into a new life.